Hey y'all. Today's lesson is two-step equations. We've practiced one-step or simple equations. So now we're going to two-step. Make sure you get down your two rules. The first rule is you undo your addition and subtraction. And the second rule is you undo your multiplication and division. It says remember, to cross over the line, you do the inverse. Alright, so some examples, solve the equations. So copy those down. Example A, 2x plus 7 equals 13. So we're trying to figure out what x is. We need to isolate the variable. We need to get x by itself. So step 1 says undo addition or subtraction. So I draw my line, down my equals, and I have addition. To undo addition, use subtraction. So I do minus 7 on both sides. This is a positive 7 and a negative 7. Those are going to cancel out. And then 13 minus 7 is 6. I bring over my 2x, and now I have a simple equation. 2x equals 6. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Because remember, if you want to cross over that line, you have to do the opposite. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So x equals 3. Now if I want to check my answer, I take my calculator, and I plug 3 in right here for x. So this means 2 times 3 plus 7. So when I type in 2 times 3 plus 7, I get 13, which is what I want, so it checks out. That's how you check your work. You plug it back into your equation. Alright, let me show you another one. B, negative 4x minus 9 equals negative 1. I draw my line, and I have to undo the minus. I'm going to add 9. I'm not going to touch it twice anymore. Last year in 7th grade, we touched it twice. So I'm going to just add 9 to both sides. Negative 1 plus 9. If you don't know that, type in your calculator. Negative 1 plus 9 is 8. And then I bring over my negative 4x. I'm going to divide by negative 4 because I want to go over the line. And 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. So I can substitute it back in for x to check my work. This means negative 4 times negative 2 minus 9. And I got negative 1, which is what I have, so it checks out. You can always check your answers with equations. That's what's really nice about equations. Alright, so example C and D, copy them down. First thing I do is I draw my line, and I want to undo my addition or subtraction. So now this is where it gets tricky. Right here, here's a minus. But this is x divided by 3. I can't get rid of that. First I need to get rid of my 8 because that's what's actually the farthest thing away. This right here is division, so I need to get rid of this 8. Is this a positive or a negative 8? Hopefully you can tell this is a positive 8 because nothing's in front of it. You look at the sign in front of it. This is negative. So that is really a negative term, but the 8 is positive. So I'm going to minus 8 on both sides. And 5 minus 8 is negative 3. And then when you bring this down, you have to bring down the negative sign. So remember, it's whatever the symbol is in front, if it's going to be positive or negative. So now I have division. In order to undo this division part, I need to multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3 because of this negative. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3. And negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So x equals 9. If you want to check yourself, you're going to put 9 right here. So 8 minus 9 divided by 3. And I get 5, which is 5. Alright, D. W divided by 5 minus 10 equals negative 3. I draw my line. W over 5, W divided by 5 minus 10. So this is the value that I want to undo. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides. And I get W over 5 equals 7. Negative 3 plus 10 is 7. This is division, and this is actually a positive number. This 10 is really negative because of this in front of it. So this is really negative 10, so I'm undoing it with a positive 10. To undo division, I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 because of the denominator, and W equals 35. If I want to check myself, I plug it back right here. So 35 divided by 5 minus 10. And I get negative 3, which is what I have right there. Alright, so copy these down. Now these look really tricky. Last year in 7th grade, you were told to touch twice. And touch this twice, make it plus a negative. Well, now that you're in 8th grade, we're going to stop touching twice, and you have to train your brain, train your eyes and train your brain to know that this minus is really a negative. So this statement says negative 3 minus y equals 15. And that minus really makes that y a negative value. So I'm going to show you how to solve this. You're going to draw your line. I want to get rid of this negative 3. So in order to get rid of the negative 3, I need to put positive 3 positives to undo 3 negatives. And 15 plus 3 is 18. And this whole term I bring down makes it a negative y. Anytime you see a minus in front of it, it's really the same thing as a negative. We practice this too. Whenever you don't have a number, you're going to put an imaginary 1. So I need to divide both sides by negative 1, because this says negative 1 times y. You can't have a negative variable as your answer. So you insert a negative 1 because it's negative 1 times y, then divide by negative 1, and y equals negative 18. Because 18 divided by negative 1 is negative 18. Alright, you try this one on your own, pause it, and then press play when you're ready to see your answer. Alright, so this is really a negative, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And I get negative 3x equals negative 15. Negative 17 plus 2. And you can use your calculator to help you compute these numbers. Going to divide by negative 3. And x is going to equal 5. If to check yourself, you would put a 5 in right there. So I would type in negative 2 minus 3 times 5, and I would get negative 17, which is the answer. Alright, and we're going to practice more two-step equations.